What's up, guys? You are watching the X3 Drop podcast, and I'm Xell.
And I'm Ducky.
And this is a little bit of a new look for us. We are actually on the way back from the Vegas Regionals.
On the road again.
What is that?
Is that a song?
Is
or
that
no?
a song?
I'm pretty sure that's a song.
It might be. I'm getting a negative from our producers. I'm getting mixed issues. I'm getting some people saying no, some people saying yes. Ari's pointing to her tattoo, so it might be in a Shrek movie.
Ooh, Shrek 2. Very likely in Shrek 2.
Yeah, one of our producers is now motioning that he's killing himself. But he is our driver, and that is probably not great. But anyhow, we are on our way back, and so today's episode we're going to be dedicating to our Vegas experience, and I hope this, sound quality and all that stuff holds up here, because obviously we're in a car, so things are not perfect. But
yeah, it's a little windy, so apologies for that.
I think the idea is fun. But yeah, anyways, if you guys are enjoying our content, please go like and comment and subscribe to the video channel, and go check out our Patreon, where we have a bunch of bonus content you can listen to, and like our One Piece watch-alongs, and we just do premium episodes where we just talk about additional things related to One Piece and our lives and all that. So go check that out as well. It helps us a bunch, and we appreciate your guys' support. Speaking of support, we had one of our good friends, kekfilaTCG, hand us these custom-made booster packs.
Yeah, One Piece booster packs. So shout out to kekfilaTCG for that. Really enjoy kind of seeing you guys at these events, so don't be shy. Always come up and say what's up. We're always happy to see you guys, and it's always just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll be at Toronto next weekend, so if you guys see me or our producer Tora there, he's just now our he's the middle finger
guy.
came up, yeah.
Producer guy.
Come say hi. But yes, we have these packs. Mine has Mr. One Daz Bones on it.
I got Vasco Shot.
Vasco Shot.
I'm not exactly sure how much bounty he's got. There's a chunk missing there. Someone got hungry on the way.
Yeah. All right. Should we crack these bad boys?
Let's
you want to go
crack these.
first?
I'll go first.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and crack the Vasco Shot pack. What do you think is inside here?
I don't know.
He says, I don't know.
But these are nice quality packs.
Yeah,
it feels really sturdy.
These are well made.
I haven't seen anybody open these. I know he was handing out a few of them at Las Vegas Regionals, but I guess this will be a first look.
Yeah, let's take a look. Okay. Yeah, these are sturdy. Oh, there's some Dawn? Okay. Show it to the camera.
I'm the king of the Dawn packs.
Okay.
So it comes in a little team bag.
Yeah, it's got a little baggie in it. Okay. You're so careful with this. All right. He's opening it. Yeah, so we know there's at least one Dawn in there. Da-da, da-da. Okay, which Dawn is that? It's the Sanji Dawn.
Sanji Dawn.
Perfect for producer Ari. Okay, let's see these other ones.
They're kind of facing
the wrong other way, but okay.
Okay, it's like this.
Okay. One to the back like it's a Pokemon card. We got a Pedro. We're doing a booster pack opening. Sorry, listeners, you're going to have to watch the YouTube video for this one. I don't know what that card is. I can't see it. Ezo Searcher. Okay.
We got
Haruta. You got the Whitebeard pack. Gum Gum Rain. Just got a new alt art in the new PRB.
Oh, I got Koala.
And Koala. Which Koala? Oh, 6-drop. Oh, SR. Big J.
Jinbei.
Oh, Mr. Jinbei.
New one.
And then finally we got an alt art. Tashigi. Full art Tashigi. Awesome.
Oh,
and then Glorp Web. Okay.
Tashigi hit for me.
Awesome. Big. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and open mine. These things are sturdy.
They're just nice. Like, I'm not sure where he got these and how he crimped them, but shout out to you. I think you might have a future in this. Open up that team bag a little bit here. What do we got? So it looks like everybody
Another
gets
Dawn. Yeah, everyone gets a Dawn.
Ooh, 7 Warlords Dawn. Oh, you got a leader? Oh my God. That freaked me out.
I got a leader pack.
Holy, that freaked me out. Hanger. Love a hanger. What do we got there? I don't even know what that is.
That's a Zeph, sir.
Zeph? Oh,
Pre-release.
pre-release Zeph. Stamped Zeph. Fire Fist. Boa Hancock. Is that an alt pudding? What is that? Oh, it's the Searcher pudding. Okay. Nico Robin.
Double SR hit.
Oh, you got smoked.
I did get smoked.
You
but
got
hey,
smoked.
I needed another pudding, so this is good.
That's true. Thank you, Kak. I appreciate it. Shout out to you.
Thank you, kekfilaTCG.
All right, and
Appreciate it.
I guess moving on to the first topic here, like you mentioned earlier, you and I kind of had different weekends. Even though we went to Vegas together, I played in the One Piece Regional.
Yes.
And you played in the Pro Tour qualifier for Magic the Gathering.
That's right. At the same time the Las Vegas Regionals were happening, MagicCon was also this weekend. So I was kind of splitting up my hobbies here a bit.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I'm reclaiming the name Xell TCG. Rather than just Xell One Piece, you know?
Yeah, I was holding down the fort at the One Piece side of things for X3 drop.
Yes, sir. Okay, so yeah, we split it up a little bit. Yeah, again, like you said, we kind of had different weekends.
Yeah.
And yeah, so why don't we start on the One Piece side? How
Sure.
was the Las Vegas Regional?
The Las Vegas Regional was actually pretty sick. Raphael ran the entire event as the head judge.
Yeah, shout-outs to Raph.
Yeah, shout-outs to Raph. Everything was run super, super on time. Things fired really quickly. The event was super smooth, and I just had an awesome time there.
I was very jealous because I was getting your guys' Discord, like, you know, we have a Discord where people, you know, they're like, yeah, this is my record right now. This is how I'm doing. And you guys were 4 rounds in, and we hadn't even started round 1 yet for the PTQ.
Yeah,
but the PTQ did start a lot later than you guys. But
to kind of put into perspective, I think the event was supposed to start at 10, ended up starting probably closer to maybe 10:30, 10:45 because they had to figure out all the waitlist stuff.
Yeah.
I believe there was 500 people who were signed up for the waitlist, so they had to raffle off 100 spots, 100 and some spots. So obviously that would have taken some time, and that's totally understandable. But once the round 1 was up, just smooth sailing from there. No wins, no capsizing. You know, it was just a really efficiently run tournament.
Yeah.
And then personally for me, I had a pretty good run. Honestly, I'm the king of bubbling out at this point. Finished 34th out of 1,000 something. So
34 is so tough.
yeah,
man.
so I was just barely off
out,
of top cut there. Honestly, at the end of the 10th round, my losses were in round 6 and round 8. So my tiebreakers were pretty good, and I was feeling pretty good about it, honestly. I was like, okay, I'm probably just a shoe-in, right? I had a very, very good chance of making it to day 2, just based off of tiebreakers. But once the results were out, 34 is tough for me, man.
Smoked.
Yeah, 34 is tough. But, you know, can't complain too much about top 64. I didn't really have too many expectations coming to this event.
Yeah.
Just kind of wanted to go and have fun with all the One Piece guys and eat buffets.
Yeah.
No, I was really most excited about the buffets, and we got
the
there.
Food,
so.
yeah. And what deck did you play?
This weekend I played Purple Luffy.
For anyone who didn't know.
Yeah. Well, I feel like everybody is like, oh, this is Purple guy, but I got the premium pickings of Purple Luffy decks. You know what I mean? I got green Purple Luffy.
Yeah.
We got blue Purple Luffy.
That's true.
We have black Purple Luffy.
We do have that.
And of course, can't forget, we got purple Luffy.
Purple Luffy.
We got the OG purple drink. 0 calorie, just delicious great beverage.
I got one of those on the way here.
Yeah.
0 sugar purple drink.
Yeah, yes sir. So purple Luffy, I thought people were sleeping on that a little bit coming into this event because everybody's talking about peanut butter. Everyone's talking about grape. Everyone's talking about blurple.
Mountain Berry Blast Purple Luffy.
Gushers Luffy. Tropical Gushers Luffy. And everyone forgot about a high school sweetheart, Purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I brought Purple. Just ramp fast, play big bodies, ship everything face. You know how we do.
Yeah.
Fast kata, still very powerful.
Very good.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
So how was your what was your matchups like?
Man,
for
my
the
matchups were a little bit of everything, to be honest. I had a green-yellow Yamato, green-yellow Law, Buggy, blue-purple Luffy, green-purple Luffy, green-purple Luffy, red-green Smoker, Lucci, purple-black Luffy, and then blue-purple Luffy.
So you kind of saw like exactly what we thought the meta kind of looked like.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Outside of maybe that first Yamato.
Honestly, I did expect to see a Yamato.
Yeah.
I think there were quite a bit of Yamatos. I think just by looking around, the representation was definitely there. Top 32, I believe only one of them made it. But I think green yellow Yamato had finished like third in Swiss or something like that. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
But the conversion rate was kind of low for that deck. I thought that green yellow Yamato was an interesting pick. It got a lot of support, but into my deck, I am still way too tanky.
Yeah,
I really do not care. I will take all the hits. Katakuri is a menace, and you know how it is. I will say, though, that weekend, my dice were hot. I won, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice rolls out of 10.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I won 7 dice rolls.
You know what you should have done with all that hot dice?
Hit the
Join
crap
us at the tables, man.
I thought I was on the slingshot because I rolled so well.
Yeah.
That the second I hit the crab stables, it would have been bad.
Are you sure? You don't know. The slingshot could have kept going.
It's possible.
You cut it short. You maybe you might have cut it short.
I'm a very risk averse player.
Yeah.
By the way, I play things very safe, right? 6 lead, 5 lead, 5 lead.
But we're in the city of sin. We're here to gumbo.
That is true, but Nats is kind of right around the corner for Wave 1. Wave 2 Nats will be back in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
I will be more prepared.
Okay, you're saving it up.
I will not go to church on Sundays. I'm going to save up all of my sins.
Yes.
I'm going to bring them over here.
Sir.
And they will be sins and not tragedies. So next trip, we'll hope to see you guys there. But that was basically my run at that tournament, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the elephant in the room here, which I think people didn't expect, was there's so much Bonney representation.
Yeah, specifically in top 32, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we have the full tournament representation to know like exactly like what were the most common decks that people were bringing. I'm going to try to look them up and see if Eggman has posted these things quite yet.
To my knowledge, I don't think that he had posted a entire, what is it called?
Like a tournament full report. Like we know what's in top 32. I'm not sure if we know. Right. Yeah, because like some TOs give us that information and sometimes they don't. So I think for this particular one, we did not get like the full list here. But yes, I think the big surprise, kind of, going into this is that we had 3 Bonnies in top 8.
Yeah.
And those 3 Bonnies also, by the way, were the 3 Bonnies in top 32. So
that's right.
Not only did they make day 2, they made it very far in day 2, which I think is pretty exciting, I think, for Bonney players. Maybe to your behest.
It does leave quite a sour taste in my mouth that people are playing Bonney again. When I thought that finally it was going to be the era of purple Luffys.
Right.
However, I cannot be sour for long because our friend Casey did end up making Top Cut Day 2 and finished in the top 4 with Bonney, conquering both Jonas and Jackson, in addition to JCM Rice Cooker Uncut Sheet winner, 6-time serial winner JCM.
Yeah, exactly. So he had he was Hercules, had to do the trials, became a god.
Yeah.
Awesome weekend for him.
Yeah, so super congratulations to Casey. Shout out to you.
Also, I think he won like 4K off a slot roll.
Oh my god.
Just on a whim.
Yeah, I think he just randomly passed by a slot machine, put in like $40, won 4K off of one spin. He had a generational Vegas run.
Yeah,
just
that's
generational.
Amazing. So there's that. But I think just in general, looking at the top 32 like pie wheel.
For sure.
This was incredibly wide, right? Like, of course, we had the people that we thought were going to be making up most of the chart, right? Like all the different various purple Luffys.
Primarily the GP and the UP, right?
Yeah, GP, UP, but also I think people were expecting purple Luffy. And then we did have a buggy make it to the top. But also Bella Betty was another one that we thought. But I think the big surprises here are some of the one-ofs that we saw. We have JCM back at it again.
This guy doesn't die.
Yeah, even though, like, I swear to God, I think we've said it in the past too, just like, this is not the format for Whitebeard, but somehow he's like a cockroach. You can't kill this man. He's got too many radical beams. He's got too many guard points.
He's got too many zero costs.
Too many zero cost events. You just can't kill this man. And so he's back at it again. But then I think one of the biggest surprises in the room was a BY Luffy.
BY Luffy was absolutely absurd. When I heard the tournament report, oh my God, the streets were rioting. Have you heard? There's a black-yellow Luffy on the rise. Top 32. He played really well. He's super teched. And I took a look at his deck list. Kind of crazy deck list. He's running 2 ofs, 3 ofs, 1 ofs of a lot of stuff. It's super wide, but really big shout out, congratulations to him for making it work. I wonder what his bracket was like.
Yeah, I'm so curious. I think everybody who used to play BY is also very curious on that, because like I truly think that this is not a great format for BY to have made it. However, you know, I think the thing with any previously meta deck, even though, you know, it got hit by bans and all that, the core power is there.
For
right?
sure. 9K leader is nothing to
nothing
snooze
to
at.
Shake a stick at. Shake a stick at. Stick a shake at.
Stick a shake at.
Yeah. Okay.
Stick a shake at.
So yeah, we have a very wide format
for sure
for this. And looking at this top 32, this has been probably one of the most diverse top 32s I've seen in quite some time. Right?
Yeah, I think for sure. Obviously, most of the pie chart was kind of dominated by what we thought were the meta decks. But the fact that there were so many 1-ofs and 2-ofs of other decks that we particularly didn't expect in a day 2 format was really surprising.
Yeah.
And we made a tier list video a little while ago about how well certain decks were positioned in the meta. And we made a little bit of a call that the green decks, actually, if you were looking at Yomi level 2, were quite the strong pick to bring.
Yeah.
Bonney and Red Green Smoker and Lim especially. We didn't see very much Lim here, but Red Green Smoker and Bonney, I did see quite a bit of representation over at the Vegas Regional, and I think that their efforts really paid off here.
Yeah. Welcome to Yomi level 2, everyone. We've officially announced it. You know, welcome to Yomi level 2 of the OP11 meta. Now, the question is, where do we go from here? I think the thing is that I was already kind of surprised about Bonney's sort of relevance, and I'd be curious also, again, to see their matchups and to see their deck lists, because Gamma Knife has been one of the strongest tech choices for a lot of the purple Luffy decks in this meta, and like I know a lot of people were gravitating towards that instead of like stuff like Electrical Luna, and it's like despite that, it's still maybe just not enough, right? Because like in these purple Luffy decks, you may only see one, if that, against a Bonney, and so are people going to tech harder into Bonney, or are people just going to be like, it is what it is? Yeah, we know they can exist. We know that the matchup is still winnable regardless. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious where the meta might move on from here.
Yeah, the Bonnies this time around were quite brave to be bringing a cost kid, especially like you said with all the Gamma Knives and all the red decks running Mulgun, or just basically decks that don't rely on interaction but rely on shrinking and combat in order to remove big bodies.
Exactly.
But I think Bonney players have since adapted and played 9-cost Zoro or other just kind of uninteractable bodies and rely on those, like Hody Jones, things like that, and just rely on those to close out the game.
Yeah.
And I think that approach is actually quite strong in this particular meta.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know what there is to say. I'm very curious if Bonney will gain popularity or this was like kind of a flash in the pan. People got caught with their pants down
Yeah.
moment sort of thing. Like maybe the general populace hadn't quite adopted Gamma Knife the way a lot of other players I've seen, prepare for it that way. The other thing I really want to talk about as top 32 is the first place winner of the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And the unique build that they brought along, because blue-purple Luffy, obviously we're used to seeing the sort of like hard ramp into the big body stuff, and
the Sanjimon combos.
Yeah. I think we knew about that, and I think through people like Ikalakai, we've heard of people bringing in stuff like 3-cost Doflamingo as like kind of like the latest and greatest in terms of technology for the blue-purple deck.
Yeah.
However, this man brought something entirely different to the table, and one that like I feel like not a lot of people had on their radar, and that was the Doflamingo package.
Yeah, the purple Doflamingo package with the 5-cost Rosinante, the 8-cost Doflamingo, and I believe did it still play the 3-cost Doflamingo, the blue one?
I believe it did, and it also played Giola as the 2K.
As a 2K,
I forgot.
And then Sugar, Sugar as the Searcher. So it was just your classic purple Doflamingo package in another purple Luffy deck.
It's
that's not
like
purple Luffy.
Your God Threads are also searchable
right.
off of it. So and you run a million events. So it's funny because like I think it makes sense. And I saw a tweet from Ikalakai too, is that actually early on into the OP11 format in Japan,
that's right.
People were exploring this package for good reason. I think one of the big differences, because he was kind of talking about it in his tweet there, like, I'm curious why like this was so successful in the way the West meta has shaped up.
Yeah.
And I think the big reason, and you kind of pointed it out a bit ago, was that we're kind of in a format where like interaction is at an all-time low, right? And so these bodies are just kind of sticking around and giving you long-term value. And like Rosinante in particular, like, hey, and that 5-drop slot, you get to draw 2 cards, ditch an event that isn't, particularly tuned to the matchup that you're seeing, and then getting those 2-ton back. So like you're less concerned about like having to go down and down from Giant, for example, or like not having enough events to be defensively secure, right?
Yeah.
Especially because like if you've ever played blue-purple, like the scariest turns are like the first couple of turns where like people are trying to rush you down, and like you'll oftentimes end the get to a point where you're like 1 or 0 life with like 2 cards in hand, maybe. And so like having that early Doflamingo Rosinante to help you like filter your hand, have more counter available to you in that early stage of the game is like very, very helpful. And now the thing that I'm very curious about, and one of the decks that we didn't really talk about in the top 32 quite yet, is the prevalence of Lucci.
Yeah.
Right? And I think despite the fact that like I feel like the recent meta has been dominated about like this kind of uninteractability that we've been seeing, especially because of I think Buggy's influence on that.
For sure.
But I think because of the rise of GP and the diminishing returns that we're seeing out of Buggy players, like I think that interaction might come back. I actually think Lucci could make a big splash again. Bonney players are coming back. They're like, oh, we're free from the shackles of Lucci. We can do this, guys. We can be free. We don't need to run Basil Hawkins anymore. We can just do our thing.
Yeah.
And we have like blue-purple Luffy's. Yeah, we're gonna run the Rosinante package. Oh yeah, I can play a 5-drop and have it stick on the board, or an 8-drop that does nothing to the board. Like, yeah, I can do that. And then Lucci's are just coming out of the woodworks like insects to some festering wood.
Just invasive hornet species.
Invasive species. Oh, what is that? -1, -2, -3. Lucci. I sent 3 cards bound to the bottom of my deck.
Cherry loop.
And because of that, I think like Lucci kind of might find that the door is a little bit ajar for them to come back in, and I'm very curious what that's going to do to the meta.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've been kind of seeing a little bit of a development in the meta that reminds me a bit of like the fashion cycle, if you know what I mean. Like
like skinny jeans are in,
yeah,
and
so
then
skinny jeans are in, right? Like Buggy is in.
Yeah.
And
he's
because
so skinny.
Yeah, because Buggy is in, Bello Betty becomes a bad deck, and Lucci becomes a bad deck, and then all of a sudden we're introduced to baggy pants. Bonney is in. Wide-legged pants are in. Skinny jeans are now out because Bonney beats up Buggy. Oh, Bonney is in. That means I can play Bello Betty again.
Yeah,
I can play.
Skinny jeans are back in.
I can play Lucci again. Oh my gosh. It's just kind of a vicious cycle, and I feel like the meta calls that people are making, it's like not exactly a triangle, but it is a circle, or it's circular based off of like how people are playing this game of chicken. Like, are you bringing Bonney? I'll bring Lucci. Oh, you're bringing Lucci? I'm off Bello Betty. I'll bring Buggy again. So I think coming from this weekend's results and going into next week's Toronto event, I feel like because there have been so much representation of Bonney and Lucci, I will think that the Buggy representation will go up based off of how well you're reading the meta. If you're at Yomi level 2, I say bring Buggy.
Yeah.
If you're at Yomi level 3, keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, exactly. And I think the other part of that too is behind Lucci, you have Blackbeard.
That's
who
right.
Also did quite well at this tournament. So we're kind of in this like food chain cycle, right?
Totally.
And these decks are hunting each other. And I think what's interesting is I think the stats on blue purple are going to continue to look a little underwhelming because I think there are going to be blue-purple pilots who bring very specific deck lists for the meta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, there's going to be the guy who goes, okay, Lucci's are out, Bonnies are in, I'm going to bring in the decks, I'm going to bring in this deck list with Doflamingo because I think interaction is an all-time low. Boom. He gets first place. He's doing really great.
Yep.
And now, next time around, the Lucci's are back. The Blackbeards are back. Interaction is back in, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's going to be a lot... that guy's going to not do as well with that same deck list.
That's right.
Now, again, the people who are bringing in stuff like the classic package are going to suddenly do better. The turbo ramp into 9 cost. Like,
yeah.
Now those deck lists will do better. So overall, in the picture of blue-purple and their conversion rates, I think we're going to see that, like, I think over this format, people are going to go look at the data and go, blue-purple doesn't look that good, right? The conversion rates don't look that good. But I think people forget that blue-purple is a very modular deck.
For sure.
So, again, I think people who are prepared for the meta are going to do quite well. And then the other people who got lost in Yomi level 1, they're going to just be kicking rocks,
Yeah.
So,
you really don't want to be left behind in this meta because I think it's evolving very quickly. Not even just the leader choices and how they make up the food chain in the meta, but how the deck list of certain leaders will change over time, week to week, event to event. You kind of have to really be on top of that and have your finger on the pulse there.
Yeah. So very interesting. I think this... Maybe you were right after all. There is life to this meta yet, Josh. Maybe I was too soon of a doomsayer.
I think that you're much too fixated on the shape of the Finch's bills. But there will be evolution, and there will be nuts to be cracked, and tortoise to be discovered.
What did you say?
Galapagos tortoise.
Finch's bill?
Yeah, you don't know about the Finch's bills?
I do not know. I'm not a knower.
You know about Darwin, and he went to the Galapagos Islands, and you saw these Finch's bills. They're really thin Finch bills, right? And then over time, they have developed these thick bills to be able to crack open the nuts and just survive in the meta. And the Galapagos tortoise, you can't forget about those.
Oh my god, my fourth grade biology courses are just flooding through my mind. You know the scene in The Matrix where they're in the White Room and like all the guns flood back?
Yeah.
All my fourth grade biology courses, Galapagos, Darwin, Finch's bills, all just coming out.
Yep.
Okay, I'm back, baby. Yes, I'm on board. Yes.
We're on board with the Finches.
Yeah, so yeah, again.
I was Charles Darwin with this shit.
Yeah, so like that, I was lost in the sauce, and I was a little bit too much of a doomer, and I'm still very curious how this meta will continue to adapt, or if it will continue to kind of circle along like this, or we'll find like kind of like a place of parity where like we'll actually settle on a meta.
Yeah,
but
just
maybe by the time we do that, it'll be already OP12.
Yeah,
right?
the leader oasis. We finally come upon the leader oasis. There's beautiful running water there.
Yeah.
No Bonnies to be seen.
Utopia.
There.
Wait, I think your vision is a little bit different than everybody else's.
My fever dream.
Yeah.
There's animal Marcos aplenty. There's a bountiful crop for everybody to settle down. No poverty.
Yeah, no green exists.
No green. Not
it's all
whatsoever.
luscious blue.
Yep. Even green purple Luffy, green purple Luffys are just regular Luffys.
Yeah.
The purple cancels out the green.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
regular Luffy. Colorless Luffy.
So that aside, I think this was a very interesting event. But I kind of wanted to also talk about, because I think you were saying how in Top 32 you were there that day.
There.
You were there supporting our boys John and Casey at the tournament, and you kind of witnessed some stuff there, right?
I did. So I kind of wanted to talk a little briefly about how messy things were in Top 32. And this is
from what perspective?
From a spectator and player perspective. I think this wasn't a core TCG or like a TO or a judge-run issue. I think everybody did a good job, but the players themselves, there were plenty and like way too many judge calls, and I think like deck check failures.
Oh, interesting.
That happened in the Top Cut, even though you have a Top Cut meeting the day prior. Hey, these are what's legal. These things are what's legal. If you don't have them, please change them out. Have a 50-card deck. Come tomorrow morning. We're going to deck check you. We're going to sleeve check you, and what have you, right? And there are a few players that failed that deck check and got some game losses. And then during the first round of Top 32, I was just seeing a lot of hubbub around, like, hey, this player did this player did that. And judges were called, and they had to do a little extra work when it comes to like cleaning that up. And I just kind of wanted to say that I think the way One Piece is currently with the player bases, we are just maybe a little too messy with how we play. How we play is just really, really unclean, and I don't know if that has to do with how loose the rules are. Like when it comes to the structure of playing, like I feel like things just really, really need to be cleaned up. And you are coming from a Magic kind of background, and I kind of wanted to hear your perspective on how things differ from Magic compared to One Piece, and whether or not you guys have this problem.
No, okay, so now this is where, for people who aren't used to Magic rules, like Magic rules are very, very tight, and I want to say uptight about how game pieces are presented and how you progress a game in terms of like game actions that you take. They're very, very finicky, and you can get your judge called on you very easily. And like, I think for a lot of people, that sounds kind of like a bad thing. It's like, oh, people are so uptight about these things, and there's angle shooting on it, which, again, there is. But I think one of the benefits of that is that every action that you take is extremely clear, right? Like, for example, like pre-turn or pre-game actions. So when you guys draw your cards, the second player, the guy who's going on the draw, the person who goes second, isn't allowed to look at their hand yet until the first player resolves their first mulligan. Like they're even uptight to that extent, right? So like everything is just very clear when you start your turn, untap, upkeep, then you draw, right? I feel like coming from a Magic perspective, and I come to One Piece, like people are very loose, like, okay, I'm going to start my turn, even though all my cards are sideways and my Dawn is everywhere across the table, I'm going to draw my card, and now I'm going to start thinking about my turn, even though everything is like still, tapped and all this stuff. And
you don't untap your Dawn, your characters. You might untap your characters and you might untap your Dawn, but then the leader that you swung with, you forget to untap him. Like everything is really unclean when it comes to One Piece.
And I think in One Piece rules, technically speaking, I think there is a specific like layout of how your turn is supposed to go. It's like start a turn, you've got your refresh phase, you've got your dawn, you've got your draw. Like I'm pretty sure if you look at like the starter deck mats, it tells you exact what the order is.
I think
but
so.
I don't think like anyone ever like reinforces that, right? Like
Yeah,
everyone is very
certainly
loose
not.
about that. And I think that has been fine for a long time. But I think as we get into these decks that are more and more complicated with how we move our game pieces, like the first time I felt this way was like when Reiju was introduced as a deck. I was like, okay, I witnessed a Reiju player who was like doing the game motions very fast. Like, okay, so I'm going to play this. I'm going to use my stage. I'm going to look at the 3 cards. Okay, I'm going to bottom these. I'm going to minus a Dawn. I'm going to draw 3 cards. Like a lot of shortcutting and just like Dawns flying around everywhere.
Yeah.
Cards are being drawn and put to bottom or into hand or into the trash or out of the trash. Like there was just like so much going on, right? And the thing was like the player was making constant mistakes, and I had to be like, hey, no, you should have less Dawn here. You shouldn't be doing, and being like, he was like, oh, I minus Dawn. Did I draw already? Like, asking questions,
like you should. These things should be surgical and systematic, and you should have like scalpel precision, rather than trying to do surgery with a butcher knife.
Right. Both players should know exactly what is happening at all times, and there should never be this like level of like, I trust that my opponent is doing the correct thing,
right?
Because of situations like in top 32 where people, I think, were getting judges called because sometimes people aren't being clean. Maybe they didn't put as much Dawn as they needed to back and all this other stuff.
There were particular instances because GP Luffy is kind of a popular meta deck currently, where there were a lot of issues with people taking like Dawn shortcuts, right? So you would call, oh, I'm playing out this card. I would use leader ability. Instead of sending the 2 Dawn back and restanding the 2 Dawn, they would just restand the 2 Dawn and then get one back from Sanji Pudding from their Dawn deck. And I'm like, whoa. I understand that you want to take shortcuts here, and effectively they're the same thing. But in a tournament setting, especially a regional setting and in day 2, please, I beg of you guys, be clean about your actions. Please call them out. I am using leader ability. Leader ability sends 2 Dawn back to my Dawn deck. I get to restand 2 Dawn, 2 rested Dawn, and I get 1 Dawn or 2 Dawn or 3 Dawn back from my Sanji Pudding.
Exactly. And you clearly state
effect.
Yeah, effect, Dawn, effect, Dawn, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You should every like game piece that moves, there should be a like effect that you are verbally, saying is resolving in order to do these things. Again, this is like for competitive integrity, because people make mistakes, right? Like we've seen people as good as Jackson make mistakes as they're quickly trying to go through their actions, right? Like there was a clip like where he's playing BY and he accidentally uses 2 like people are just going too fast. And if you're telling me some top level players are doing these things and making mistakes, dude, I'm just saying monkeys fall out of trees, right?
100%,
like people make mistakes, and I'm not saying like, I'm not trying to point at Jackson. I know I used him as an example here. I'm not saying that he's cheating or whatever. Like, I'm not saying these people are intentionally doing it, but I think by people cleaning up their play, being very clear about these things, especially at a competitive level tournament like a regional, I think that this cleanliness makes it so that everyone can feel like everyone is on a fair slate and that less mistakes are happening, because now you have both players who understand what is happening at all times, right? So coming from a Magic side, especially recently where I played in a they call it REL, like the rules level.
Sure.
So that's competitive REL, which is like the highest tier of rule enforcement. Like, I was like, wow, this experience is so different than what I see at a One Piece level, right? I get it. At a One Piece local, I don't need you to, I don't want people needle dicking each other over every small thing.
Yeah, if we're at a local, like, pay 3 for your caviar dish, sure.
Understandable. I get it. In Magic, that would be considered like the more like casual competitive REL or like FNM REL. I don't care. But at a regional, at day 2, top 32 of 1,000-person tournament where you have thousands of dollars of prizing on the line, you bet your ass I want this to be clean, you know? So that is just kind of where I'm coming from. And it was like a kind of a grim reminder a little bit coming from Magic again. And I was just like, man, we need to do a better job as a community cleaning our play up so that less mistakes happen, people don't get taken advantage of, because people are getting taken advantage of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, these are games that were streamed, right? Like, we had caught on camera mistakes happening, people not taking life from Hody, people mismanaging their Dawn or drawing out of order. Did I draw my card? Oh, hey, you drew an extra card there. Like, these kind of infractions do happen, and a lot of times they're non-malicious mistakes. But just because we catch these on camera doesn't mean that they don't exist off of camera.
Yeah.
During the first 9 rounds of the tournament, or first 10 rounds of Swiss, there are so many games happening, 500, 600 games happening simultaneously. There just are not that many judges.
Yeah, exactly. Like, imagine if these mistakes are being caught on camera. How many times are they happening in a 1,000-person tournament? It's got to be all the time. So again, I think this is kind of like my plea to the One Piece community. Let's clean it up when you play. And this is the thing. I think One Piece as a game, we're getting to a point where like there are just more kind of affects complexity creep is what I'd call it. You know, like I know in OP12 there's going to be a lot of restanding and as like Dawn and characters and all this stuff. Like, be really clean about it, right? Like, player Cavendish 4-5 Dawn, then on play we unrest 2 Dawn. Don't just like throw it out there and be like, yeah, I played it for 3. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. We just need to be a little more cognizant of, and I think it benefits everybody to just be a little bit more clean.
I think so too.
So. That's kind of my spiel on on that.
Yeah, I think very well said. That we had a lot of issues in top 32. We've had game losses, we have round losses, we have DQs, just because people fail deck checks or people are being unclean about stuff and they have gameplay infractions. So like, I really just don't want these things happening in One Piece. I want the game to be clean. I want your turns to be concise. I just want the event to run smoothly and people to play honestly and just hold each other accountable.
Yes.
And that is, I think, really important for competitive integrity for a game like this.
I really don't want to get into a situation where like we devolve the One Piece card community into one where everyone goes, yeah, they just play super sleazy and unclean and because like sorry, Yu-Gi-Oh, but like you guys as a card game community don't have the best reputation, right?
Sure.
When it comes to like competitive integrity and stuff like that. Like, I don't want One Piece to have that because it is so hard to break stereotypes like that, you know? Smash players and being stinky, stuff like that. Magic players having that butt cracks out. So, like, it's just one of those things where, like, I don't want that negative stereotype. I think so far, One Piece, the card game community, has been so blessed that, like, I feel like, generally speaking, I hear more stories about positivity and people, like, really being good to each other, right?
Being nice, being helpful, being respectful.
More so than, like, a lot of other card communities. Using deodorant. Well, I can't say that One Piece has been great on that front either, but
they are better than, I don't know. Like when I go to like Bandai Card Fest, it smells better than Anime Expo. That's for sure. I'll take what I can get. I'll take what I can get.
We'll take what we can get.
Like there's not that many butt cracks. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't look like the peaks and valley of Mount Everest. It don't look like the Grand Canyon out there.
The Himalayas.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I see. It looks like Georgia. There's a couple peaches, but not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah.
We wear belts in this community.
Yeah,
we keep it tight.
Yep. We do be keeping it tight, brothers.
So, anyways, but outside of Vegas, I think we had a lot of fun this weekend. I had a lot of fun this weekend talking to my experience again at MagicCon. So I didn't get into the Vegas regional, so that's one of the reasons why I signed up for the PTQ for MagicCon. And I got rinsed. I was like practicing pretty hard. Like Josh knows this, and I'm not a grinder in a traditional sense. Like when it comes to One Piece regionals, like
brother,
I do
you grind, brother.
I don't play sim at all.
No.
And I just like ask a lot of questions to my friends, and I like playing like IRL. In Magic, it was the actual opposite. I like stuck my ass down on my computer and I grinded MTG arena drafts like over and over. Like hit a high rank and I was like, okay, I'm prepared.
Yeah, I remember you sending me a message like, hey, I've played 9,000 games of Magic the Gathering Arena, and I've got a 79% win rate. Am I ready? I was like, bro, if you tried this hard in 1 week, you don't play the sim at all. How did you play 9,000 games of Magic the Gathering? What is going on here?
I was like grinding Arena, and anyways, I got rinsed. Turns out I should have spent a little more time opening sealed pools rather than just drafting. For One Piece players, there's 2 different limited formats. So like, for One Piece players, we only have our pre-releases where we do that, where you get, like 6 packs, you make a deck. That's called sealed in Magic. Mm-hmm. And drafting is where like everyone gets 3 packs. You open 1 card in the pack and then you pass it to the next person, and then that's how you like make your deck.
It's like a draft rotation.
Yeah, it's like a draft rotation, exactly. And so that's why it's called draft. Yep. And that kind of experience is actually quite different. And I think I could have played a little better. Variance definitely wasn't on my side either, but that being said, it was still a cool experience to do that. It's been a very long time since I've competed in Magic, so kind of getting the itch again. I don't know if I can somehow juggle both One Piece.
It's a lot.
And Magic, and then also potentially Riftbound is around the corner too,
right.
and a lot of people are excited about that game as well. So I don't know all that. However, I will say, out of everything, I complain about my variance a lot to my friends. My friends know this. I always am like, I didn't this happened, blah, blah, blah. But I will say, the slingshot, I think it might have happened because, boy, my dice were hot this weekend.
Your dice were hot this weekend, not to mention not only the craps tables, not only blackjack, not only baccarat, not only the slots, just outside of Vegas, the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering Collector's Boosters, you hit it big.
Oh, yeah. We did ourselves good. I'd like to shout out my girlfriend, Ari, to the actual hot hands in this relationship because, she opened, like, the Sephiroth Surge Foil, which is going for like $800 now.
Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
It's insane that she is willing to use her god hands and pull you just the absolute sauce, and you just went and made her cry by playing NL. It's just absurd to me.
I'm never living this down.
You're never living this down. You're yeah. My girl domestic, but my abuse foreign. Right?
That's your favorite line.
Well, it's the opposite, right? It's my girl foreign, my abuse domestic.
My girlfriend, yeah. So in this case, my girl domestic, but my abuse foreign.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what to say to that. Except thank you, Ari.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Vegas was an awesome time. Like, I was very pleasantly surprised by all the food choices. I was, coming from LA, we're just like, we're in the land of like just the best food, the most versatile, diverse like cuisine possibly available in Southern California. Vegas surprised me quite a lot, like aside from the buffets, we stayed in Chinatown, and literally everything that I had there was awesome.
Awesome, yeah.
The One Piece Cafe was maybe the worst thing that I had there.
Yeah, it was still pretty decent.
It was still delicious.
Still pretty decent. Yeah,
my meal. I had Ari's leftovers. I had your leftovers. I left rotund. Lucky Rooks is what they call me.
They'll make a treasure rare of you someday.
Yeah, I left pregnant for sure.
That might be separate. So anyways, what I was going to say is that this is actually the first time that I've stayed at Vegas off the strip. And it was such a different experience because, like, when I remember going to, like, Evos or, like, whatever event that's happening in Vegas, right? Like, gaming events happen in Vegas all the time. Fan Fest, yeah. Like, I'm used to just having to, like, scrounge myself, like, dumb fast food that you find at on the strip.
Yeah, so like your Taco Bell cantina.
Yeah, Taco Bell cantina. I mean? There's that, like, that one Panda Express at the food court.
Yeah,
Dude, anyone who stayed in Vegas knows exactly what I'm talking about. And it's the worst because they're always like a little too far out. There's no like direct line to get to these places. It's like, okay, I got to go to this escalator, go across this street, and then go down. It's like a freaking puzzle. I'm in a MC Escher painting, and Panda Express is on the other side of it, and I'm lost, right?
Yo.
What was that?
I don't. This is a
Kabuki Theater,
yeah.
Dude, Do they do that at Panda Express?
I don't know, but I'm allowed to do that because I'm Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Kabuki Theater is Japanese, though.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, so it's just such a good time because, man, the food options outside the strip are so much better than the ones on the strip.
It's immaculate.
Yeah, and so this was like my first, like usually when we leave Vegas at these events, like me and my friends, like we decide like, okay, the one time we're going to go run it at It's Sushi and do the all you can eat there. And I'm like, oh man, it's so good. I didn't realize how much good, like if you go down that side of Vegas, it's like all stars of all of LA's Asian like food greatest, you know? It's like the top hits.
Yeah, and they're all just basically condensed into like 1.5 blocks.
Yeah, exactly.
And I honestly, I might be willing to say like I've had some better food in Vegas than I had like just this past weekend than I've had in LA for like the last year or so.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like you might be able to just take like a food tour in Vegas for like a week straight. You just go down the line, you know?
Yeah.
Eat breakfast, lunch, dinner across all these Asian restaurants, and you are just going to leave so fat and rotund. You're going to make Lucky Roo look like the skinniest man on earth. I'm just saying, like, it is insane how good the food is.
Yeah, the food is incredible.
So, yeah, and you just have like your, again, like I said, greatest hits. You got Chubby Cattle over there. You've got It's Sushi, better than what we get over at
you've got Lee
Pasadena
Sandwiches, open
Lee
24
Sandwiches.
hours.
Yeah, Lee Sandwiches.
Leave Lee Sandwiches alone. Lee Sandwiches is legendary. They're a legendary franchise that's been around for generations, a staple in the Vietnamese community.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Anyways, yeah, the food was really good. Had a really fun time with all my friends. Got to see a lot of people through either One Piece Regional or the MagicCon itself. So just overall a really good time.
Yeah.
And I think we'll talk more about our general personal experiences on the premium episode. So, hey, if you guys have, $5 to spare for the Patreon, go check it out. We've got tons of bonus content over there. We'll see you guys over there.
For those of you guys who have been saying in the comments, oh man, I need more uploads. I want more episodes.
People be saying that. I'm happy.
You just get an extra episode per week with the Patreon. So yeah. Shout out to the Primo.
Yeah, shout outs to the Patreon. And yeah, so just really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. We had some people, like Josh said earlier, come up to us and say how they enjoyed the X3 podcast. And
we love that. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you guys. So thank you guys so much for that. And hope to see you guys at future events. This was so much fun.
Say what's up to him in Toronto. I'll be at home holding it down. But I'll see you guys at Nats.
Yeah, we'll see you guys at Nats. All right. Peace out.
See ya.